Hey everybody, this is Wendy at the Broken Needle Quilt Shop in Bunn, North Carolina. And this is a sampler quilt that I designed called For the Birds. This is going to be an 8-part series of videos that will walk you through how to create each block individually, step by step. So let's get started. Now we're going to do the bird's nest block. This one is a little bit more interesting, and I say interesting. Some people may call it challenging, but I don't like to use the word challenging because that scares people away. So let's say interesting. There's going to be more parts to it than the last few blocks we just did, but we need to push ourselves and learn some new stuff. So let's get going. Now for the corners, you'll need 4 2.5-inch squares. And then you'll also need, for the middle squares, you will need 9
1 7/8-inch squares.
And then for the triangles, the blue triangles, you'll need 2 4 7/8-inch squares. And then for the brown, you will need 4 2 7/8-inch squares, 6 1 7/8-inch squares, and last you will need 3 3 1/4-inch squares. The first thing we want to do is make this section. We'll end up making this 4 times over. This section will go 1 2 3 and 4. So the first thing we need to do is take our blue squares and we're going to cut them from corner to corner. So now we have 2 of them. Put those aside and do that one more time, corner to corner. So now we have 4 triangles. Now take our 4 squares, and these we're going to cut in half again. So that'll give us 8 triangles. So we're going to do from corner to corner, we're going to cut them in half. And if you lay it out like this, you'll see what it's going to look like. It'll end up looking like that. So we need to do that with all 4 of these squares, corner to corner. And these are the 2 7/8-inch squares. So I've made one of these already. You need to make 4 of these sections. So in order to make this part, take your square and take one of your triangles, and you're going to flip it over and place it right with the right angle of your square. You're going to have a little bit hanging over, a little bit here and a little bit here. And we're just going to sew it on one side here with a 1/4-inch seam. Then I'm going to set my seam and press it away from the square. Use some best press. And now we're going to do the same. I'm going to take another triangle and flip it in this triangle, put the right angles together. And again, you're going to have a little bit hanging over here and a little bit crossing over this way. So then we press it open. And put this triangle in this section right sides together and sew them with a 1/4-inch seam. Make sure that you're matching up your triangle points. You may need a pin to pin it in place. Especially if you're not comfortable doing that, I would suggest to use pins. I'm not going to. We have that section of our bird's nest. So I'm going to set the seam press it towards the blue triangle. And then we're going to square this square up to 4.5 inches, and that'll take off the dog ears. So I'm going to use my ruler. You can use 4.5 on this side, or you can spin it around and use the 4.5 inch mark on this side. This is a Creative Grids ruler. So that you can see better, I've spun it around so you can see the 4.5. And if you notice here, you see how there's a little bit of fabric here and less right here, so it's not totally square. That's why we square it up. So I have enough room all the way around to cut it. I'm going to cut on these two sides, and that takes that dog ear off, and then spin it around. Now I can put it right on the 4.5 inch mark down here. Make sure I'm lined up on my diagonal correctly. That's already been cut. So now see this little piece we're going to take off. And the dog ear comes off. And now you have one of the sections of your bird's nest. So you need to make that 4 times. Now we're going to get into the interesting part of the block, which is these. You see these squares are on point. On point meaning they are this way. A lot of times our squares are this way. When they're on point, they are on point, from point to point. So we need all of these squares, and then we're going to take these 3 squares that are 3 1/4 inch. We're going to cut them in half twice. So now, if we just do not move, cut again, and now we have our 4. So now we have all of those. We need to, you probably would want to label these, get a little sticky note so you know which size these are once you've cut them. Now with these smaller squares, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 of those, and those, the size again for those are 1 7/8 inch. These we're just going to cut in half from corner to corner. They'll give us 12 little triangles. Now, when we go to put our sections together, you'll notice here, these are the square sections that we made, and then we're going to make a section here that will join these 2 blocks, and a section here that will join these 2 blocks. Don't worry about the middle right now. I'll show you that in a little bit. So first we need to make this section, which is actually going to be going right here. We need to make it twice, because 1 for this side and 1 for the other side. So to make this section, put this to the side, and all of these triangles that we cut out originally, we need to take one of our squares, and we're going to take a small triangle, one of the small ones. We're going to make a little house. So we're going to fold. You can use a marking tool and mark the center. I'm going to fold this in half and finger press it so that I can get a good crease there. And we're going to take this and place it on top to make a roof. So that line down the middle, I'm going to make sure my point of my house is right on that line, and you'll have a little bit of overhang on each side. So as long as you're hanging over and your point is right on the middle line that we created, you're good to go. And we're going to sew it down with a 1/4 inch seam. Ta-da, we have a little house. So that's how you can make a house block. Now the next part, we take a big triangle, bigger triangle, it's not that big. So we had a little one, now we're taking the next big triangle and we're gonna put it on the other side over here. Just like we did in the first block, we're gonna make sure that we put our right angles, corners, together up here. And you're gonna have a little bit overhang here and a little bit overhanging here. And we're gonna sew starting here. And we're gonna do the same as we did before. You can fold this in half again if you want to. I'm going to eyeball it this time. As long as you have about a 1/4 inch hanging on over on this side and the other side, you should be good. Try to make sure the overhang of these little dog ears is about equal. You can see these two are. And my little point is in the middle. Complete. This is going to go on the other side. So we have 2 of those. As with all the other blocks, square everything up as you go. This should, width-wise, should be 2 5/8. The 5/8 is right after the 1/2 inch mark. So I'm turning it around to 2 1/2, and I know that at the very next little tick mark is the 5/8 mark, 5/8 inch mark. So looks like everything's pretty spot on. Just gonna mainly, this should be taking off the dog ears. She shouldn't have much to trim at all. And then we have this section. So you see I had the first one done. It's gonna end up going right here, and I did the second one and we'll go on this side. So our next thing to do is make this section. We're gonna make 2 of these and put them together to create this whole little row here that's gonna join these 2. Now we've created this section a couple of times, and now we need to make the other section so they will come together like this. So what I found, sometimes if you start to get confused, lay your pieces out as they are to be. So right now, this one we just completed. This next section that we need to put together, we're gonna need to make our little house again like we did the first time. After we make the house, the roof goes on here, then we put a big triangle on the next side, which will overhang here, and then lastly you put your last little small triangle on the side. So hopefully that helps. Lay it out here like this so that you can remember which way everything goes. So let's make a little house first. I'm gonna fold this in half, and then again my roof, the point of my roof is gonna go onto the crease I just made so that we have it centered, and then you're gonna have a little bit of overhang on each side. Next thing to do is add our big triangle on this side. So remember, we need to turn this and make our right angles with our right angles on our corner here. And we're going to press this triangle up, up. And now we need to add the other little triangle. Now take our sections and we're going to sew this together and this together. So this is going to be kind of unique. We need to take these and nest them together. So it's going to be like, what? This is kind of goofy. But as long as with all the rest of this block, you got a little bit hanging over, about a 1/4 inch of this little triangle dog ear, bunny ear hanging over, then you're good. And I try to nest that section right there. Put our pin in here, pops right back out the other end, and put it in as an angle, and let's sew them together. Look at there. So I'm going to show you how to do that one more time. This is how they go together. Flip them together, and you're going to nest the opposite. I don't know how to tell you that, this part to this part. So not down here. You want to make it offset. It'll look like it's not supposed to go. If it looks wrong, then it's right. As long as you got your little dog ears hanging over here and then down here. Get that in there. And so with a 1/4 inch seam again. So now you can see we have our points are really nice here in the brown and in the light colored fabric. So we're going to go, because I have these intersections, this is to reduce the bulk, we're going to pop them in opposite directions just like we did with our other blocks. If you have a little bit of thread poking there, be careful and pull that, and you'll see you get a little block there. So let's go press them. These should be 2 5/8 inch wide. And now we have made these. See, these are going to join these blocks. So let's sew this together. And then the only thing we have to do is this column. So, right sides together. And a 1/4 inch seam. Now we need to put the bottom part on. So we're going to put this, flip it up, and 1/4 inch seam. And you see our points are looking beautiful. Now we need to do that with this side. So that is going here, and this one will go over here. And then the last thing we need to do is our column here. And then this column, once we get it made, we'll connect these two pieces and your bird's nest will be complete. So let's get started with our column here. So as you can see, these are broke down in sections. We have 1 section, 2 section, 3 section, 4 section, and the 5th section will complete this column. You have 2 small triangles here and 2 small triangles here. All the rest of your triangles will be bigger, and all of the points of the triangle will be pointing towards the center. If you lay it out wrong and have it twisted like this, which I've done before, even though you have an angle going here, that is not the correct way. It needs to be like this. These center points need to be going towards the center. So first, as we did in the other block or section of the block, remember we made a little house. You can, like I say, fold it or mark it. I'm going to fold it and just give me a crease. Fold it in half and finger press it. Good. Got a crease, so we're going to make our little house. So our point of the roof is coming down, and we'll have a little overhang on each side, which should be about 1/4 inch. Now we're going to take this triangle and turn it this way, and then sew with a 1/4 inch seam. Over here so you can make sure that you're sewing everything in the correct order. So you can see this is going to connect with this section. So lastly, we need to put this smaller triangle up here. You can again fold it in half. I'm just going to eyeball it to make sure that my point is in the center of the block and that I have some hanging over on each side. And we'll square all this up after we get everything put together. So now this, and this will all be done the same way. So these 3 sections will be all the same way. First, we're going to take the big triangle and put it on this side. Now we need to press these away from the center block. Let's lay these back here again. Remember your squares are supposed to be on point, so if you start to do this, you need to make it go like this so they're on point. And then the next one, and then this one. So now you can see we need to take these triangles and put them on the other side. So now cut these apart and press them. Now we have these unique looking sections. And before I put these together, let's go ahead and make this last piece right here. The first thing we need to do is make a little house again. This is the way it goes. Now once you put the little one, you got to put the bigger one on the opposite side. So fold it over here. Just remember when you have this one that has big 2 small triangles and a big one, that the first one is a little one, the next one is a big one, and the last one is a little one. Now, the last part is to put the little one again over here. So now we have this all trimmed, and we're going to put these right sides together and make our column. Now we're going to square this up. We have our column all complete, and now we just need to sew these together. So we're going to flip this over here, right sides together, and sew a 1/4 inch seam. So now that I sewed this side on, we want to sew the other side, and then we'll be done. Just remember to nest these seams here so that your points will be good. Will be lined up correctly, I mean. So I'm going to come into the center piece and definitely put a pin in here. Out the middle, and so a 1/4 inch seam, and we'll be finished with our bird's nest. Ta-da! Bird's nest block complete.